Welcome back to Mac Talks of Football, and it is match day 9 in the English Premier League, and we are here to make our predictions for the weekends of football, and we're going to see how many of my predictions come true and how many of them are not correct at the end of the weekend. Last week it was a disaster for me. I got just 4 points out of a possible 30, so I really would want to do a lot better this weekend. The point system is quite simple: 3 points if my entire prediction is correct, and 2 points if the prediction is correct but the score is not correct. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start making our prediction. The first game is Leicester City versus Nottingham Forest. And now Leicester City, they had like one of the best comebacks you could have hoped last weekend against Southampton. They were down and out at 2-0, then they go ahead and finish the game at 3-2, especially getting that equal winner in the last kick of the game. They are playing, so they are they are coming into a game with a high confidence. They are playing against a Nottingham Forest side who are doing really good. They are 8th in the league. Nobody expected them to do this good, and they would hope that they can continue this run. They have been really amazing this season, and they would want to continue. And I think it is going to be a very exciting game. Leicester at home. If it would was Nottingham Forest home, I would have given the game to Forest, but just because they are away and Leicester at home, and the way that they played last weekend, I think it will be a high scoring game, and I think it will be a draw, a high scoring draw. I'm going for a 2-2 draw between Leicester City and Nottingham Forest. The next game is Manchester City versus Southampton. It is a second versus a 19th. Now Manchester City are now the only team in the Premier League who are still undefeated. They but the last weekend they played against Wolves, and I thought that was going to be a very easy win, but it became a very tough game for them. But this time around they are playing against a Southampton side who are one of the 4 teams who are still winless in the Premier League. They had a big chance to get that first win over last weekend, but they threw it all away against Leicester. Now they are going to travel to Etihad, and I think there is just one result in this game, and I think it will be a very easy win for Manchester City. And unfortunately for Southampton, I think it is going to be a thrashing. I'm going for a 4-0 win for Manchester City. The next game is Brentford versus Ipswich Town. It is a 13th versus a 17th. And now Brentford, they are they have been quite inconsistent at this season. They win a couple of games, then they go ahead and they lose a couple of games. So that is why they are where they are, and they would hope that they lost last weekend to Manchester United, a game where I thought that they should have won, but Manchester United played really good at that in that game, and I think in a way they deserve to lose that game. If I'm being very honest with you, they are at home this weekend, and they would hope that they could get back to winning ways. They are playing against an Ipswich side who themselves are one of the 4 teams who are still winners in the league, and they really want to get that first win of the season. They have come close quite a couple of times, but they're not able to get that. They lost last weekend against Everton at home, and I think it will be another loss for them. If I'm being very honest, I don't think they are going to win it. I think it will be a very exciting game. Both these teams like to attack, both these teams like to go forward, and both these managers have that attacking mindset. But I think Brentford being at home, and they just have enough quality to get the 3 points against Ipswich. But I think it will be a very close game. I'm going for a 2-1 win for Brentford. The next game is Brighton versus Wolves. It is 5th versus 28th. Brighton, they started the season good, really good, and then they had a couple of blips. But now the last 2 weeks, they have gotten important wins. They won against Newcastle last weekend, so it's very important for them. They are 5th, and they are playing before that. That 2 teams, that 3 teams that are above them. So they know if they get the win, they are going to overtake them. And by the time these teams play, they could easily be at the 3rd position at the table. So they would really want that. And going into that game, they are playing against a Wolves side who are atrocious at the moment. They have lost their last 5 games in a row, and I don't see any other result apart from Brighton win. Wolves played really good last weekend, but they were at home against Manchester City. But they were at home, as I said before. This week they are away, and Brighton are going to be relentless in this game. I think it will be a very easy win, and I think it will be a very convincing win. I'm going for a 3-0 win for Brighton and Hove Albion. Moving on to the next game, it is Aston Villa versus Bournemouth. It is a 4th versus 11th. Now Aston Villa, they have been amazing this season again. Like I keep on saying, a lot of people thought that they were not going to be as good as last year, and they were going to struggle because of the Champions League, but they are not doing it. I said that they were going to finish in the 4th. I did not see them struggling, and they are not struggling. And Champions League, they have been amazing in the Champions League as well. They are undefeated in their last 5 games in the league, winning 3 of them. They won last weekend as as well. They won in the Champions League as well, so they are going to be at home, and I think the confidence at the moment in that squad is on another level. They are playing against the Bournemouth side who won last weekend. It was a huge win for them against Arsenal, even though there was a controversy, but Bournemouth are not really going to care about that much. At this time around, it is going to be a very tough game for them, in my opinion. I think they are going to lose. I think Aston Villa are going to win it, and I think they are going to win it quite convincingly. It is not going to be any problem for them. I'm going for a 2-0 win for Aston Villa. The next game is Everton versus Fulham. It is a 16th versus a 10th. And now Everton are slowly starting to get away from that relegation pack. They are still very close to them, but last week's win against 17th place Ipswich would have really helped them. As I say, they have sort of made their gap a little bit a gap between them and the four teams below them, and they would hope that they can carry this the momentum from last week forward into this game and sort of get another 3 points to make it even better for themselves. But they are playing against the Fulham side who have been really good this season. They have lost their last two games, and they are in a bit of a rut. But at this game, I think they are going to look at this game and they're going to say that this is the one where we get back to winning ways and we get those 3 points. And with both these teams coming into the game expecting to win, I think it will be a very close game. It will be a very hard fought game, but I think it is going to end up in a draw. I'm going for a 1-1 draw between Everton and Fulham. Moving on to the next game, it is Crystal Palace versus Tottenham Hotspur. It is 18th versus 7th. Crystal Palace, I still cannot believe that they are in this situation. Their squad is so good. They should never be here, but they are one of the 4 teams who are still winless in the league. They lost last weekend again to Nottingham Forest, but I think that game was one of their best performances till now, and they would hope that they can continue to play like that and get better, even better than last weekend. They are going to be at home, and they would hope that the home crowd can get behind them and try to get something out of this game. They are playing against a Spurs side who are slowly getting better and climbing the table up to those European places. They were 9th last weekend. They won the game. They moved up to 7th, and they are currently 7th. They dispatched West Ham quite easily. It was a very important win, not just because of that league table or whatnot. Yeah, it's a rivalry, and they basically destroyed their rivals, so it was a important win for them. They won a midweek in Europe as well, so they are going to come in the game with high on confidence. I think it will be a very close game, but I think Spurs are going to win it quite easily in the end. I'm going for a 2-0 win for Tottenham Hotspurs. The next game is a Chelsea versus a Newcastle. It is a 6th versus a 9th. Now Chelsea, they are in a really good form at the moment. They have just lost once in their last 5 games, and that was last weekend's game against Liverpool, in which I thought they played really good. It was a very good game of football, and I said in my review as well that Chelsea players and the managers or the fans should not be disheartened because it was such an amazing performance to go at Anfield and to play like that. It was a very good, but they did not get the job done. It happens. It's a big, 2 big teams are playing, and one of them has to lose sometime, and it was Chelsea's turn to lose, and it is Maresca's 1 year, so they should really understand that as well. They are playing against a Newcastle side who are not in a good form at the moment. They have won just once in their last 5 games. Last week they lost to Brighton, and I still don't know how Newcastle did not score in that game, because they were relentless. They created 20 plus chances in that game, but they were not able to put the ball in the back of the net, and I think that affects you psychologically as well. They are going to come at Stamford Bridge, and they are going to play that attacking football. I think it will be a very interesting game. Both these teams like to play attacking football, Maresca and Eddie Howe. I think we can sort of expect a game like Liverpool, Chelsea, and even Brighton and Newcastle was very fun to watch. I think Chelsea are going to be at home, and they are going to want to give out a response, and I think they will be able to. Unfortunately for Newcastle, I think they are going to get another defeat this week as well. I think it will be a very close game, but I think Chelsea are going to edge it in the end. I'm going for a 2-1 win for Chelsea. The next game is West Ham United versus Manchester United. It is 15th versus 12th. 2 teams who are really struggling, and 2 teams who are where they should not be. Like both teams are really underperforming. I'm going to start with West Ham. I mean, they have such an amazing squad. I'm not going to lie. They had one of the best transfers window in the entire of Europe this summer. And in my prediction, I thought they were going to finish 6th because of the such a good amount of players that they are brought in. But their performances have been all over the place. this, and they lost last weekend as well, which I really did not think was gonna happen. And again, as I keep on saying, like I used to say for the like first couple of weeks that the new players are coming in, they're gonna take their times, but now it is starting to become a problem. They are 15th after 8 games. They really need to get something out of this game. They in a way they are lucky that they're playing against a Manchester United side who are struggling like themselves. They were brilliant last weekend against Brentford. They had one of their best performances of the season, but then again in the Europa League they go ahead and they draw against Fenerbahce. So United are that sort of a team again this season that you never really know what they are going to do. And I think West Ham have a really good chance to get the 3 points, and in my opinion they are going to get the 3 points. I think West Ham are going to win this game. I think Manchester United are going to lose this game, even though they were brilliant last weekend. I just don't think being away at a stadium like West Ham, I think they are going to struggle, and I think it will be a very close game. I'm going for a 1-0 win for West Ham United. And the last game of the weekend is the big one. It is Liverpool, it is Arsenal, it is first versus third. Two teams that are really going for the title. Liverpool have been amazing at this season, simply sensational. Nobody really thought that they were going to be in that title race, but they have come in and they have surprised everyone, and now they are the top team. They defeated Chelsea last week, and it was a really good game of football. But Liverpool's experience of the players, they just stepped up and they got the win for their team, and they would hope that it can continue this weekend as well. They are playing against an Arsenal side who are they lost last weekend. It was their first defeat of the season. It was quite controversial, and in my opinion, if that was not a red card, I will say it again. You can call me biased as or whatnot, but I don't think that should have been a red card. And then they lost that game. They won in midweek against a Shakhtar Donetsk, but the performance was not that good. They were quite flat as well, and now they have injuries as well. No Saliba, no Calafiori, no Odegaard. There's doubts about Asaka. There's no Timber as well. So a lot of injuries as well. I think it is going to be a very tough game for Arsenal. I think it will be a very hard game for Arsenal, and Liverpool know that Arsenal are there for the taking. Like they know they can be hunted down, and Liverpool are going to try all to get something out of that game. Not something they would want to get everything out of that game. And a lot of people have predicted Liverpool to win, but I am not going to do that. You can call me as biased as possible, but I just don't see a winner out of that game. I just think whenever Arsenal have been in these positions before as well, they either go ahead and they get the win, or they somehow draw the game. And I think this is going to be another one of those games where Arsenal don't lose, and I think it will be a draw. I think it will be a high scoring draw. I am going for the same prediction that I went for last weekend's Liverpool Chelsea game, and I went for but it ended up being a Liverpool win. But I hope this weekend my prediction is correct. I'm going for a 2-2 draw between Arsenal and Liverpool. And with that, my predictions for match day 9 in the Premier League are complete. We are going to see how many of my predictions are come true and how many points I can accumulate. As I said before, last week was an utter disaster. I just scored 4 points. So I am really hoping that this weekend is not like last weekend. I can at least go into those double figures. Anything if I get like it is a 30. If I get past 15, I'll be very happy. If I'm being very honest with you, you guys can play along with me. Make your predictions in the comments below, and we will see at the end of the weekend how many points you accumulated as well. So please go ahead and make your predictions, and like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to 400 subscribers before the month of October ends. It's a big task, around 130 subscribers still to get, almost 8 days remaining. So it's a big task, but we are hoping that we are able to achieve it. So please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and until next time, bye bye.